Morgan twisted the ruby ring around and around her finger. The air was cold this morning in her bedroom, and the ring was loose. She couldn't stop feeling the ghost of Josh's hand on hers from last night when he'd held her hand. Couldn't stop wishing he were here to warm it again, instead of all the way down the hall in his own bed. Doubtless not wishing for the same physical touch from her she craved from him. She flopped back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. What would have been different between them if he didn't have that girlfriend? Brielle Dupree, whoever she was, had never even met Morgan Clark Hyatt, but she was wrecking Morgan's life from 7,000 miles away, or however far away Germany was. She'd have to look that up. The other events of last night smashed together in her mind. Bronco Hyatt was at least as bad as Josh made him out to be. Possibly Josh had even been generous about the guy's personality. No wonder they came to loggerheads over what Josh should do with his life. That dad needed a personality transplant. Or maybe he was only hurting over the loss of his late wife. Who knew? Even though everyone else had seemed pretty much under his thumb when she and Josh first arrived, at least they warmed to her over time and turned out not to be half as bizarre as Josh had made them out to be. Bronco, however, Josh had nailed his description. Maybe Morgan could think of a way to make things better there. Not that you can fix crazy. She hoped Heather had liked the agates and didn't think she was a total dork for giving her what seemed like stupid rocks she'd found, which in essence it was. Maybe she looked like a little kid bringing a favorite rock to his mother and feeling all excited about it, only later to learn that the mother didn't value it. Or maybe Heather was as nice as she seemed. Josh liked her, that was clear. Morgan wasn't sure about any of the Hyatts, other than Josh, and it was horrible. Truth was, Morgan could see more and more clearly every passing day that Josh Hyatt was the man of her dreams, that she was married to her dream guy, and that a wall separated them far thicker than the one between the two bedrooms they occupied. Maybe she should tell him, just go marching into his room, demand that he listen, and lay it on him, that she was falling in love with him and he should choose her. Forget about that absent girl in Germany who didn't have the good sense to reel him in when she had him on the hook, and take Morgan for his girl. They were so right for each other. Couldn't he see that? On the way home last night, he'd hesitated to take her hand, avoiding her the first half of the drive. But then he reached over and seized it. And the way his thumb caressed the back of her hand, Morgan basked in the energy surging between them. She'd been sure he would kiss her goodnight. But when the car had been parked, he'd helped her out of it to the kitchen, and then made a beeline for the upstairs, leaving her with tingling, unkissed lips that longed for his. She craved him so completely, and not just his touch, his conversation, his thoughts, his company, that smile with those incredible teeth. Okay, and his kiss. It felt like it had been so long since his kiss. Kisses on the forehead didn't count. Well, not enough anyway. At this moment, Josh Hyatt was just a few feet away, beyond the wall from her. She put the flat of her hand up against the wall, imagining his hand pressed against the other side. Almost touching, but always separated.